Namaste, everybody. Welcome once again. We are back with Dr. Togi, and this is going to be a very interesting discussion today because we'll be having Holi, and there is also going to be a lunar eclipse that is also happening on the same day as Holi. So there is going to be a lot of confusion in what time to celebrate Holi. So I think Aditya is going to dispel all of that. So Aditya, welcome once again. This is going to be an exciting and interesting discussion that we're going to have. Over to you, Aditya.
Thank you, Dr. Pai. I hope welcome March. Today is first March. First March, and March is for Holi festival. So, thank you for that introduction, and thanks once again for providing the opportunity. Thank you. Okay, let me share the screen. So today we are going to understand. I think my screen is visible, right? Yes.
Yes, yes, it is. Indeed.
We'll understand the festival of Holi through the lens of astronomy. So let's try to do some basics. And I always feel, you must have seen me in nakshatra videos. I always talk about nakshatras and festivals. So that's one of my things which I really like about connecting nakshatras with festival. And why I do that is basically, I think one can say how Srinivas Ramanujan said, an equation has no meaning for me unless it expresses the thought of God. So basically, he was trying to understand the infinite God through his mathematics. Here also, we are trying to understand the infinite through the lens of astronomy, through the lens of nakshatras, through the lens of so what festival teaches us? Festival does teach us about the dharma, about connection with the God. Okay, and festival comes on a certain period of time. What tells about the time or what connects time is astronomy again. So that's again all woven into the same fabric. So through astronomy, understanding festival, understanding the dharma concepts and the, I don't know whether I should say God or infinite, through that can be a step in itself. Okay, so that's what my effort is. So what is Holi? um, Holi is festival of colors, love and arrival of spring. Okay, just with these words, what planet comes into mind? Colors, love, arrival of spring. They are all which planet? Arrival of spring, new things coming up. No, spring is what? Where flowers bloom. Weather is awesome, beautiful. Color, love, all this planet. If I say out of the Navagrahas, which connection? It's clear to see that there is some connection with. I will say with. What do you think, Doctor Pai?
Shukra, Venus.
Shukra, Venus, correct. Directly, with colors, love, and nothing. Any astrology 101 probably will can say that. What that has connection to do with Venus? So let's try to see that. To understand this talk, I need to tell you something about the Tithi concepts. Some people may be new, so I'm just giving a short description of that. Uh, for many, it may be a repetition, but just bear with me. We know because to understand festivals always comes under certain Tithi. So that's what I wanted to introduce first, the Tithi concepts. See what happens during a new moon day when the sun and moon are exactly in the same longitude, they are almost together. The speed of the moon is much higher than the sun, so the moon will overtake the sun. The period from that sun and the moon when they were together to 12 degrees is called as, now remember, it's the new moon after the new moon, so it's a waxing phase called Shukla Paksha. So the time it takes from that 0 degree when they were together to 12 degrees is called as first Tithi, Shukla Paksha Pratipada, they call. Then 12 to 24 will be Shukla Paksha Dvitiya, second. Then 24 to 36 will be Shukla Paksha Tritiya, the waxing phase, third waxing phase, so on and so forth. So every 12 degrees is one Tithi. Okay. So first 12 degrees, first Tithi, 12 to 24, second Tithi, 24 to 36. So distance of moon from the sun will be third Tithi, so on and so forth. And when it is exactly opposite, 168 to 180 degrees, that will be exactly, that means moon is exactly 180 degrees, which means exactly opposite to the sun. 168 to 180 degree will be called as Purnima Tithi. Beyond 180, if it goes, then there is a waning phase. Waning phase is called Krishna Paksha. So again, 180 to 192. Again, it's a 12-degree difference, but it's a waning phase of first Tithi of the waning phase, which is called Krishna Paksha 1. Then 192 to 204 degrees. Okay, again for the 12 degrees will be the waning phase of 2, so and so forth. Again, it comes back to the, and it meets the moon. The moon meets the moon meets the sun. That is Amavasya or the new moon. For some, it may be, I think people know about Tithi in most of our viewers, but people who don't know, that's why. So it's the distance of the moon from the position of sun. Remember, sun is also not stationary, moon is also nothing is stationary in the universe, everything is moving. But these tithis are nothing but the relative position of moon from the sun. I think, is that clear? Probably, I think. Okay, fine. So 12 degrees and how many tithis? 15 tithis here and 15 tithis here. So total makes 30 tithis. 30 times 12, 360 degree, full circle. Okay. So Tithi is clear. So now if I ask you, when is Holi festival celebrated? Okay, I was looking at some dates, and these are some dates from 2011 to 2026, last 15 years. So it has come in. So every time it comes in the month of March. I've never seen Holi. It's come as much as earlier, that like 1st March 2018, around very beginning of March. This time also we are very beginning of March. The Holika Dahan day, the day before the Holi, where it is the bonfire is lit. That's what the date I'm taking. We can say it can go from all the way from March 1st to March 27th. So the entire period of March, you can think that's the month. March month is for Holi. So that's the time when Holi is celebrated. Now, if I ask you, what is the position of sun during the month of March? Well, so probably some may know the answer, some may not know. Here is the dates of sun transits. So from February 14 to March 14, around March 13, around that time, of so mid Feb to mid March is sun is transiting Aquarius. From mid March to mid April, so it is in Pisces. So you can say that when the sun is transiting Aquarius and Pisces, that's the time Holi festival is celebrated. You can say that. So this is the area. This is the Aquarius constellation. This is your Shatabisha Nakshatra here, Lambda Aquarii. And this is your Pisces. Now, Purva Bhadrapada is further up. Maybe let me show you this one. I have another picture. So this is the area. This is what Aquarius constellation and Pisces constellation uh, looks in the sky. I'll come back to it. Talking about nakshatras, we all know nakshatras again. There are 27 nakshatras. This is again for some people who are new, who has not seen, but I'm sure everyone of our audience will know nakshatras. So, Westerners divided the sky into 12 parts. That's called each part as Rashi. Similarly, what Indians used to do, they used to observe the moon and they used to see how much time the moon takes to go around. And they found that moon takes about 27 days. So, moon is near to one of the primary stars every night. And they divide the sky into nakshatras, 27 nakshatras. That's how the concept of nakshatras came in. So Indians were using the nakshatra system, Westerners were using the Rashi system, and somewhere we could fuse both because it's the same division of the sky. One has divided the sky into 27 parts, the other one has divided the sky into 12 parts. 360 by 12, 30 degrees, 360 by 27 will be 13.33 or 13 1/3. Okay. So you can say that, and if you see in 30 degree, if you divide by 13.33, it will be 2.25. So 2 1/4 nakshatra makes one Rashi. Again, Astro 101. So I'm not going into much. I believe everyone knows that. And names of nakshatra we know Ashwini, Bharani, Kritika, so and so forth till Revati. Okay. Uh, Same thing here, but I've given the zodiac sign and nakshatra. And remember what nakshatras I said. It is Sun is transiting Aquarius and Pisces when Holi is being celebrated. So that means what? The sun will be either in Shatabisha, Purva Bhadrapada, or maybe somewhere around Uttar Bhadrapada. It can be only these nakshatras when Holi festival is celebrated. Okay, Shatabisha, Purva Bhadrapada, or maybe Uttar Bhadrapada. Okay, so that's the time. Now these nakshatras becomes important. Shatabisha, Purva Bhadrapada, and Uttar Bhadrapada for the sun. What about the moon? Remember, Holi is celebrated on the full moon night, especially that bonfire is lit on the full moon night. Uh, when the sun is transiting this area, Shatabisha or Purva Bhadrapada or Uttar Bhadrapada, what is exactly opposite to it? The nakshatra is Purva Falguni. Okay. Now, I asked a question to Dr. Pai. Remember few minutes back, what nakshatra or what planet comes to mind? So it's automatically, it's Venus. That's what Dr. Pai said. Now, what is the deity of Purva Falguni Nakshatra? Venus. So you can see the Venus connection. We will go into each nakshatra and we will study. I wanted to show you the picture of constellations here. This is the Aquarius and this is the Pisces. So this is Lambda. This is the Shatabisha Yogatara. And now this is the path of the sun, this blue line. This is Pegasus. So probably because it was not in one picture, so I have to collage two images. So imagine this is continuing here, and then so this probably you can correlate. So this point will be somewhere this point here. So you can think of this image. You can put those two images and try to see. So this is Shatabisha. These two stars are Purva Bhadrapada, Pegasus, the first part. These are for Uttar Bhadrapada. Okay, this is for Uttar Bhadrapada. And this part is your Revati. There should be a Zeta Pisum here. Yeah, this part is Revati. So that's what it is. So this is what the constellations look like. Now talking about nakshatras, let's talk. So what we said? We said it is the Shatabisha, Sun is transiting Shatabisha, Purva Bhadrapada or Uttar Bhadrapada. First of all, which sign? Pisces and Aquarius. Aquarius has got to do with what? The water bearer. Concept of water comes into picture. Pisces, what is Pisces? Fishes. What is the tattva of Pisces? Water. What we do on Holi? Splash water on each other. Venus. Again, Venus is if you see the image of Venus, what does Venus carries? There's a pot. If you see the image of the Venus, I don't know whether I have an image. Oh, here, this is the image of Venus. It carries a pot. Venus is connected to water too. So you see the themes of water. I did a video on Mahashivratri too a few weeks back. Again, I was telling about the concept of how the when sun is transiting the Aquarius constellation, we celebrate Mahashivratri, and what is water bearer? Basically, is pouring water. What we do on Shivalinga during Shivaratri, same thing. Here also the concept of water, what we do on Holi. So is all this festival connected to the themes of Nakshatra, the themes of Rashi, the quality of Rashi, and that's how we act in a way. So that's one thing. Concept of what is there and what is Venus again, colors, love, spring. Spring is what? New growth. Venus, we know it's a reproduction, sexual thing, and all those things. Again, connected with new life. Venus is also connected to semen, new life again. So all that new life, new beginning is somewhat Holi is connected with. We'll come back to its spiritual significance later, but that's what it is. We also, you must have seen a night before. I said Holi is celebrated. There are two days of Holi. One is the night when there is full moon night, and the next day we play with colors. Okay, so the full moon night, people in India, they will have this. This is called as Holika Dehen. They call Holika Dehen. They will put this fire, and then I said, why this is? What does this represent? It represented to me something like a Purva Bhadrapada Nakshatra thing. Because Sun is also transiting Purva Bhadrapada during this time. Sometimes Shatabisha, sometimes Purva Bhadrapada. And what is Purva Bhadrapada? The deity, Aja Ekapad. And it's also connected with the light column. Something it looks like a light column, does it? Maybe. I don't know. So that's what it is, maybe, probably some concept of Purva Bhadrapada, the light column, the fire column, and that's what we do here. Sun is transiting Shatabisha Nakshatra. What is Shatabisha Nakshatra's deity? Lord Varuna. What is Varuna connected with? Again, god of ocean, water concept. So fire and water concept is coming in Holi. Two opposite themes, fire and water. So that's interesting to see. Now that's sun's aspect. I said moon is in what nakshatra? Purva Falguni. So what is Purva Falguni? Again, Purva Falguni, the deity is Bhaga, who is a sun god. Best man, we can say, Aryaman and Bhaga interchangeably. And again, the nakshatra, the planetary deity is Venus, as I told, connected with colors, love, and all those. What is the tree connected with Purva Falguni? The Palasha. I think it is during this time of the year, Palasha is completely red with all flowers and all. Again, Purva Falguni concept coming into the picture. And Palasha is also called as the flame, what is the forest flame? The flame of the forest or something. Flame of the forest. Similar to what is this flame? You know, analogy. I'm just thinking about how those things you are so much analogous themes. And concept of water, Venus, Bhaga is basically he's a solar deity connected with all. It's a good what you say. He's a distributor, first of all, distributor of your fruits of Purva Falguni, again fruits of your action, so this is a time to enjoy. Everyone is enjoying in Holi, playing colors, playing, having a good time, having a fun time, fun and frolic. The climate is awesome. It's not too cold. It's not too warm. Not too hot also, and splashing water. People having fun. People having thandai or whatever they say, singing songs. Very famous songs in Bollywood. We know Amitabh Bachchan's what is the Rang Barase. Do you remember that? And many other Bollywood songs have been in and around Holi. Everyone is having fun time. Okay. uh, Radha Krishna dance, that's what Holi, also they symbolize that. So it's all about the love, it's all about the unity with the God and all those things. Exactly connected with all the Purva Falguni energies, I feel. Relax. So all this connects, as Dr. Pai always says, as above, so below. It's exactly in a similar way. What's happening above, the energies of Nakshatra, the energies of Rashis is similarly what they transfer it on the earth, probably, I feel. So as above, so below is always apt, however you see. Let's come to the mathematical part now, when to celebrate and what are the timings and all those. So this is for I have taken for Delhi's chart basically. The Holi, I said, is celebrated when on a full moon night. So that means the moon has to be, if you see the tithi, between 168 and 180 degrees from the sun. So this is the time, March 2nd. I think in India it's already, I think it's India is already March 2nd. So on today in India, March 2nd, 2026 at 5:56 p.m. The moon will be at 5:42 basically, and this is 17:42. So basically you can say that 12 degrees from 180 degrees. So that's when the tithi of Purnima will start. Tithi of Purnima will start at 2nd March 2026, 5:56. Some people say 5:56, some people I have seen in the record 5:55 also, but around that time, Indian Standard Time. And the Purnima Tithi will go till March 3rd, 2026, till 5:08 p.m. on the next day. So 5:56 March 2nd to 5:08 March 3rd is when the Purnima Tithi will be. You can see sun 6:40 in Satabisha Nakshatra, moon 6:40 in Leo. So exactly 180. So that's when the Purnima Tithi is. March 2nd, 2026, 5:56 p.m. to March 3rd, 2026, 5:08 Indian Standard Time. So generally, Holika Dahan, that burning of the holy thing, is to be done on after the evening, but the Purnima Tithi has to go. So technically, they will say you have to do it on March 2nd, evening, March 2nd, 2026. You have to do, and then the next day you can play colors, Rangwali Holi. They call it sometimes people call Dhuleti, sometimes they call Rangwali Holi, to be done on March 3rd, 2026. That's what it is. But the problem this year is we have an lunar eclipse exactly during this time of Holi. So there is a lot of confusion going on. There are so many confusion. I have seen so many different, I don't want to name the, what you can say, how to put this, uh, create Indian web pages where they have mixed all the timings and everything. March 2nd, 3rd has become March 3rd, 4th. How can you change the eclipse? I don't know. So be careful what you study, what sources you study and all mixed up dates everywhere. But anyway, I will tell you what dates are. So this is the place where you're going to see the eclipse. So you're not going to see the eclipse in Europe and all. You're going to see the eclipse from Middle East all the way Middle East to India to China, and of course this is Russia, this is America, Alaska, and parts of Western US and Canada. Especially this region here, you can see the entire eclipse, and Australia too here. This red color is where the entire eclipse will be visible. So especially in the western coast of US and Vancouver at your place, Dr. Pai, entire eclipse is going to be visible. Other parts, sometimes the moon will rise during half when the eclipse is like almost eclipse is going on. Sometimes in these regions, so here in this region, moon will be rising when the eclipse is already begun. Eclipse had begun, and then after a few hours, moon is going to rise. In this part, moon has risen. After some time, you could see the eclipse. So the entire eclipse is visible here in this part. In this part, what will happen is the eclipse will go on, but the moon will set. So here the moon will set, here the moon will rise. It's a complete globe. Okay. So here, when the moon rise will happen, eclipse will be on. Here, you can see the complete eclipse. In this region here, the moon will set, and but the eclipse will not be over, but the moon will set in this part. And from here, this part, there is no eclipse in this part. So people here has no need to worry. People who are living in Europe and all, they no need to worry. Europe and Africa and all, they need not worry. Okay. So far good. Let's see the timings now. So this is the Delhi timings. I just put it from time and date, and this is uh, the exact time taken from the time and date. March 3rd. This is for Delhi, and the timings are as per the region's standard time. 2:14 p.m. the eclipse will penumbral eclipse will begin, and the partial eclipse at 3:20 p.m. Now remember, the moon has not risen here in Delhi. 3:20 p.m. the earth is basically going to cover the moon. Okay. 3:20, it's slowly the earth, you can see, if you see the here, you won't see any effect from 2:14 to 3:20. From 3:20 you will start seeing, if the moon was there. Now I'm not saying the moon will be there in the sky of Delhi. I'm just saying that from 3:20 p.m., if the moon was there, then you would have seen the moon's things getting slowly covered in the shadow. At 4:34 p.m., completely it will be covered. At 5:03 p.m., it will be the middle of the eclipse. Sorry, 5 middle of the eclipse. 5:32 p.m., the eclipse will end, and the moonrise, total eclipse will end. Uh, and then moonrise will happen at 6:21. Maximum in Delhi will be at 6:27 p.m. Partial eclipse ends. So you can see the moonrise eclipse has already begun in India. Then the moonrise happens, and then the next half, second half, you can see. That's what is happening in Delhi. New York, on the other hand, is opposite. Timings are different. 3:44 a.m. See, it's happening at the same time, but because of the timing difference, you are seeing different things. In Delhi, if it is at 3:20 p.m., then it's almost like 3:20 a.m. here in US, correct? Because you can say 12-hour difference almost. So this is the time for New York. So New York people will see the first half of the eclipse. Okay. And accordingly, partial eclipse will begin 4:50, then 6:04 a.m. The total eclipse will begin, maximum is 6:25. And remember, the moon set is happening at 6:30 a.m. The morning time, moon will set. But the eclipse will not end. That's what is happening. Houston, since Houston is a little bit of west of New York, you can see a little bit more. Let's see. Because I put Vancouver because Dr. Pai was here, so I said, okay, let's see. I should put Vancouver. Vancouver is a good place to see the entire eclipse. 12:44 a.m. People can take a screenshot if they want here when that is in their video. For Vancouver, the penumbral eclipse at 12:44 a.m. on March 3rd. You won't see anything when you see the moon. But 1:50 a.m. you will see the shadow slowly covering the moon. 3:04 a.m. the total eclipse, it will be completely covered. 3:04 a.m. at 3:04. So 1:50 to 3:04. So it's about 1 hour 15 minutes or something. It will take to cover the entire moon's disk. And then it will be, Earth's shadow is huge, so it will be taking a long time to go through. Maximum is exactly at the center of the whole drama. 3:33 a.m. That's a nice number, 333. I don't know. It's where the exact center is. And from 4 a.m., it will, you can see the other disk of the sun, moon coming from the shadow. At 5:17 a.m., you can see the entire disk, entire that black shadow has come out. And at 6:23 a.m., penumbral, even the penumbral part, from by after 5:17, you could see the disk of the moon. But there is also a light shadow there. And that effect to come is 6:23 a.m. It is after 6:23, the moon will set in Vancouver. So you could see the entire eclipse from Vancouver and and even from LA. I think I don't know whether I have LA, but anyway, I don't have for LA. So this is the Purnima Tithi timings. Purnima Tithi, nothing to do with eclipse. Purnima Tithi, I gave the timings, and then accordingly with this time conversion, you can, it's the same time. I've done minus plus accordingly. This is for Japan. This is for London in Europe, New York for Eastern time, Houston for Central time, Salt Lake I've taken for Mountain time, LA Pacific time, and Hawaii also I've taken. So accordingly. So this is Purnima starting time for those places, Purnima ending time. This is Tithi timing, start and end. This is eclipse beginning and ending. I have not taken penumbral, I have taken umbral when you see the disk getting chopped off. And this is for the moonrise and moonset time accordingly at different places. Delhi, the Tithi starts from 2nd March. The Purnima Tithi will be from here to here. This is March 2nd. You have to read like that. March 3rd. This is eclipse begin on Delhi, March 3rd, 1520, and eclipse ends at 6:47. But remember, moonrise will happen at 6:22. So 6:22 moonrise will happen, and after 25 minutes, your eclipse will end. Okay. Accordingly, Tokyo. London, you don't have to worry because eclipse, you're not visible from London, from Europe. New York, on the other hand, March 3rd, 4:50 a.m., the eclipse starts. Eclipse end at 8:17 a.m. But problem is the moon will set at 6:28 a.m. itself, accordingly. Vancouver, you can say, eclipse begins at 1:50 a.m. Eclipse ends, the part that comes out is 5:17. Uh, but the moonrise is happening at moon set is happening at 6:54. Okay. Okay. You see 5:17 eclipse is ending, the shadow is completely gone out, but at 6:54 the moon is setting. So eclipse has ended, even the penumbral eclipse has ended. After that the moon has set for Vancouver. So if you're in the western coast of US or Canada, you can see the full eclipse. But if you're in the eastern part of US or Canada, the moon will already set while the eclipse is still on. So that's what is happening with eclipse. But another problem is with this, Bhadra is also coming. Now, what is Bhadra? I've heard this Bhadra thing. So that is many things. Holi is coming, eclipse is coming. Now Bhadra Kal is a, we know there is a, in Panchang we have concepts of Var, Tithi, Yog, Nakshatra and Karan. Whenever Vrishti Karan is there, that's the time of Bhadra. It's an inauspicious time. People say many stories. Bhadra is a sister of Saturn. They say sometimes. Okay, so it's a Surya Putri, and it's an inauspicious time to do any activity. When does Bhadra comes? Uh, so Bhadra, I can say that maybe this is much better. So each paksha is Shukla Paksha. There are like 15 tithis: Pratipada, Dvitiya, Tritiya, Chaturthi till Purnima. Krishna Paksha, again 15 tithis. I should not put Purnima here. I should put Amavasya here. My bad. Okay, maybe, yeah. So it should be Amavasya here. So my bad. Sorry for that. Each tithi is divided into two parts again. Okay, first half, second half. Dvitiya, first half, second half. First half, second half. First half, so second half. So Kimstugna is always Pratipada, first tithi is always Kimstugna. There is no change in that. Here also, these four tithis doesn't change. Chaturdashi, second tithi Shakuni. Purnima, first tithi is the first half of the tithi is not Chatushpad Karan. Second is Naga Karan and Kimstugna. These do not change. These are always fixed, and this is called as fixed Karanas. So there are four fixed Karanas, and there are seven other Karanas which is repeated. So Bava, Balava, Kaulava, Taitila, Gara, Vanij, Vrishti. Again after Vrishti, there's Bava, Balava, Kaulava, Taitila, Gara, Vanij, Vrishti. You see this, and it will keep on repeating, so and so forth. Yes, so the only difference is these three: Chaturdashi, second half, Purnima, first half and second half, and Pratipada, first, Kimstugna. End of Naga and start of Kimstugna is exactly where your Amavasya is happening. Okay, so remember, as I told, my bad, this should be Amavasya. So end of Naga is where the exact Amavasya is, and the start of Kimstugna is where Amavasya is happening. Whenever you have Vrishti Karna, that's the period of Bhadra, which is inauspicious period they call. So this is Bhadra here, this is Bhadra. Again, I marked with all those yellow. So Bhadra comes four times in the Shukla Paksha and again four times in the Krishna Paksha accordingly. Okay. Now, another concept, that's one thing to see. And then you have to also see when the moon is transiting. Actually, they say that when the moon transits to Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Scorpio, Bhadra is in Loka. For us, Mrityu Loka, we live in Mrityu Loka. We have to see when the moon is transiting Cancer, Leo, Aquarius, and Pisces sign, then Bhadra is in Mrityu Loka. That's actually a very powerful Bhadra one has to consider for people like us. Maybe for Devas, Bhadra, they may be looking for this Bhadra, but we have to look, since we are Manusya, we have to look on this. Remember, where is this happening? The moon is transiting which sign? It's transiting Leo, especially during the Holi. So moon is transiting Leo. So then we have to be careful with Bhadra. Now here, so Purnima, first tithi is Vrishti Karana. So that's Bhadra is there. That means. Moreover, so that's one thing. So there's a possibility of Bhadra. Not only that, since if it would have been Taurus Gemini, we would not have considered that much. But moon is transiting Leo, so it is in the earth frame. So you have to pay special attention to it. And uh, Prahara too. That is also another thing to see. We have 8 praharas. Sunrise to sunset is called daytime. We all know that. The 4 prahara for that. And the night time is sunset to sunrise. That is 4 praharas. Right now, Holi, we have to look for Purnima Tithi. Purnima Tithi is fourth Prahara, they call. Fourth Prahara is just before that sunset. And in India, that's the exact time when we will have those things, on 2nd March. Because it will be a Purnima Tithi going on. It will be the first half. So Vrishti Karna going on. And it is fourth Prahara also. So this basically becomes powerful Bhadra because of all these three factors. I never did a research on Bhadra. This is the first time I did some. I knew Bhadra, but unless until it never came up, then I never did it. Uh, okay, now little bit on Bhadra more. Bhadra also, they are divided into six parts. One is the Mukha, face, Kantha, throat, Vaksha, chest, Nabhi, abdomen, Kati is basically your waist, and Poonch, tail. There are, they have given some ghadi, time span. Now 60 ghadis make one day. So basically, in one day there are 24 hours. 24 multiplied by 60 minutes will be give you 1440 minutes. So basically, one ghadi is made up of 24 minutes. So five ghadis make mukha. One ghadi. So five ghadis means what? 5 times 24, 120 minutes. So 2 hours is mukha. Mukha badra. Anything done in this mukha is will loss in work. Kantha, throat, one ghadi. It's only one ghadi, so 24 minutes. Vaksha is a huge part, 11 ghadis, which makes 4 hours, 24 minutes, and loss of wealth will happen here, they say. Nabhi, navel, 4 ghadis, which is 96 minutes, cause disputes. Kati is waist, made up of 144 minutes, loss of intelligence and confusion. Poonch is tail, made up of 72 minutes. They say that out of all this, these are Poonch is still better. So there's one thing which is good here. Was Poonch is better if it leads to victory. That's one nice period in this Bhadra. I don't know. I'm just thinking whether I should go into all those details. Forget about. I'm not going into the mathematics. It's too much of that. Maybe I. Luckily for India, what's happening? I will not go into all those. People can look into this and all. Bhadra starts from 1756 Indian Standard Time on March 2nd, 2026 at Delhi. You can do those calculations, and it is Bhadra, the Poonch period is during this time, 1:26 to 2:35 a.m. on March 3rd. Remember, India's eclipse is on March 3rd evening. So they say out of all this time, since Bhadra and all is coming in, this is the best time for doing Holika Dahan. It's unfortunately it is late night, but that's the best time to do Holika Dahan in Delhi. 1:26 or Delhi means India. That's the standard time in India. 1:26 to 2:35 a.m. in the Indian Standard Time. Now, people may say who is going to wake up and all. That's your problem. Okay. So that's the time. So many scholars have given this time 1:26 to 2:35 a.m. Indian Standard Time on March 3rd because it is after midnight. But what about in US? In US on March 2nd, on US or Canada, this part, we have the lunar eclipse going on March 2nd night. Because remember, March 2nd and 3rd, that night, we will have lunar eclipse here in US. That is tomorrow night, basically. Tomorrow, second, third night. The Grahan Vedkal or the Sutak period of the eclipse will be still in progress. Hence, you can't do anything because the Sutak period will be still be there. So I have just noted down the Sutak period for different time here. See, remember the Sutak period in Delhi will start only at 9:39 a.m. onwards, they say. So this Holika then can be done before. So that's fine. But for us, New York City, Houston, LA, Salt Lake City, and all, we will be having that entire like from tomorrow onwards, it will start evening. For New York City, that is March 2nd, which is tomorrow at 5:49 p.m. the Vedkal will start. Houston, 6:22 p.m. This is taken from Drik Panchang to be. I will just say it. LA by 3 p.m. till the next day. That is the Grahan Vedkal will start. So you can't do anything. The Vedkal time. So US, Canada, people can't do Holika there. I don't know how many people do here Holika there. I'm just saying it's during Sutakka. So some scholars say that you could do Holika Dehen on the next day, March 3rd. But it will not be a Purnima then, unfortunately. So there will be some things which you cannot do this time of the year. Okay, and then they say, okay, you can play Holi on March 4th. That's what some people are suggesting. Okay. In India also, they say that, okay, if we do Holika Dahan on March 2nd, but again, you cannot play Rangwali on March 3rd because the Sutak period will start. So there are some scholars who have said that why don't we do Holika then instead of March 2nd evening? Because again, you cannot do March 2nd evening, it is late night basically. Why don't we do on March 3rd evening the Holika Dahan after the Grahan, and March 4th we will play Holi colors. But remember, when you do Holika Dahan or March 3rd, it's not going to be the Purnima Tithi. So this problem is there this year, you cannot escape. We in US and Canada can't do anything. That's the Sutak period. Because remember, Holika then has to be done after the sunset. And Purnima Tithi should go. But Bhadra is coming. Vedkal is starting. We can't do. So that's the problem happening. Anyway, these are the issues. So I will not say what to do, what not to do. You see what to do. But it's a eclipse time too. So that's a great opportunity. We'll see what we could do. But talking about some concepts, spiritual deep significance. So now I'm shifting my gear to from astronomy. I shifted to timings and astronomical calculations. But now let's do some spiritual, what it is saying. So what is Holika then? Karina, we all know the story of Hiranyakashipu and Holika and Prahlad's story. Prahlad was the son of Hiranyakashipu. And then I think it is Holika was the sister of Hiranyakashipu, where she had a boon that fire cannot burn her. So Prahlad was a great devotee of Vishnu, and his father was not happy with that. His father thought, you should pray me, we should not pray to Vishnu. That's what his father was saying. But Prahlad declined. So there was a rift between the father and the son, and he wanted to kill his own son. So the plan was plotted. Holika had a boon from Brahma that she could not be burned in the fire. She had a special dress where if she can wear that, and if she goes by wearing that, she could not burn. I think it looks like some material. Brahma knows some fireproof material. That's what Brahma created, I guess. So that's the technique he had, Brahma. So he had given a nice fireproof suit to Holika. And the plan was, okay, Holika, you should wear that suit and go in the fire. Take this Prahlad also with you. Prahlad will not have suit, so Prahlad will be burned death, but nothing will happen to you. That was the plan, and we could kill our enemy, his own son, basically. What happens? They go inside, and somehow the suit doesn't work. And but nothing happens to Prahlad, but the Holika, she dies in the fire. And Holika asks Brahma, "Hey, Brahma, you gave me the boon that nothing will happen if I wear this and go inside the fire. What has happened?" And then Brahma says that no, I gave you because for the benefit of humankind, not to do adharma, and not to trouble others, not to do injustice by wearing that suit. And since you did not follow, I took away my boon or something, and then it's not going to work anymore. And unfortunately or fortunately, whatever, Holika dies in the fire, and nothing happens to Prahlada. So that's the story, and that's what they say Holika is burned, remembering that. But what it teaches over all this, what are the lessons to learn? See, you have to do right act, dharma. You have to do proper act. If you do an inauspicious adharma activities, you are going to be like Holika and die. So that's what Holi teaches. And in that Holi, you should burn away all the negativities in that holy fire. Devotion to the Prahlad story, devotion to the Lord. So it talks about dharma and adharma. Choose your decisions properly, actions accordingly. Be devoted to the Lord. If you are devoted to the Lord, nothing will happen. He tried multiple attempts. If you, I'm not talking about the entire story, but Hiranyakashipu did many acts to kill Prahlad, but each time he failed. Finally, the Narsimha avatar came and killed Hiranyakashipu. That's a different story. But so the thing is to learn is have that 100% devotion to the Lord. Do the right act. If you don't do the right act, if you are in adharma, even though if you have blessings, boons, and all, that's not going to work. That's the biggest story to take. You may have many blessings and all, but it may not work. See, again, this is again and again in Mahabharata also, Duryodhan had got so many boons and all. You remember that Gada Yudh when happened and he had all those, but you see how things work that too. Kauravas had what? The ratio of Kauravas army to Pandavas was 11 is to 7. but Kauravas failed. So if you're in Adharma, they had great archers, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, Bhishma Pitama, all these Kauravas had, but what was the result? So if you're in Adharma, you're bound to lose. God will won't be with you, Krishna won't be with you, and that's the story again and again coming in the picture and again shown in different stories and festivals and morals to be learned. So what does this say? So Holika Dahan is basically burning your ego. So what is bad things? Burning your ego. Prahlad's devotion is victory of good over evil. That's what it says. Devote divine love and unity. It's also Krishna Radha. Sometimes it's many times in Holi they will show Krishna Radha's playing with that. So it's okay in a picture. We have taken it all in a different way these days. It's all about boyfriend girlfriend playing and all. But I feel that that's a much bigger connection there. It's basically the connection of Atma with the Paramatma. That's the union there. That's what Holi is, I guess. That we have to think. I think Holi gives us that message to connect with the Lord, connect with the God, have that merging with the as Krishna Radha. No, that's what Radha is Atma, Krishna is Paramatma, and that's what it says. It also marks the beginning of new renewal, spring arrival, welcoming the new concept. Now, welcoming new concept is very. I was thinking about this, and it's not easy to welcome new concepts. Even as a scientist, to throw away the old ideas and to imbibe the new ones, it's not easy. Especially I'm a young researcher compared to others as per my age. I see young old researchers are not easy to. They don't give up the idea because they've grown up with that. It's very difficult to change. And I am also becoming old. I also learn, like if I have learned something and if you challenge with some new concepts, it's not easy to learn new things. Renewal is easy to say, it's easy to look, it's nice to understand, it's nice to hear, but to really imbibe that change is not that easy. Change is never easy. You see what's happening with Iran and US war and all. Renewal, new change is coming there. It's never, and change, prior to change, there's big war, big situation, big turbulence that goes on. So maybe Holi is showing that, the turbulence and there is a renewal, there's a new change probably. So it's a transformation period, transformation time. All this will come due to forgiveness also. You need to forgive. When you want to renewal thing, when you want to move in life, you need to forgive. And as I said, all this will create an inner awakening. So that's what I feel the Holi is. For me, especially for me, I took it as because since I'm in the field of research and all, welcome the new concept. That's what the essence I took from this my own seminar. Welcome new concepts. Try to understand it. When my student does in a different way a problem and he's teaching me, it takes me time to understand what is his going. Sometimes they are right. Sometimes I am wrong. Many times they are wrong, but sometimes they are right. And I have to see what they are thinking. So that's what it is. People can take whatever. But these were some of the things which I was thinking. And the color shows what we have different colors: red, yellow, green, blue, and each one shows red symbolizes love, energy, fertility. That's what again Venus. Yellow represents knowledge, learning, and purity, connected with Jupiter. New beginnings, life, and prosperity. Prosperity, Mercury again. You see, prosperity, Mercury. Mercury is management, Mercury is business, and all those. And blue signifies the expansive, infinite, divine nature. Oh, sorry, my E is missing here, but anyway, infinite, associated with Lord Krishna. And that's what, when you have Holi, when you see next time the colors red, yellow, green, and blue, think about what it says and what colors tell you to bring in your mind. And that's what I feel is Holi for. So, what you can do on the night of Holi, since this is an eclipse night, I think this is a great opportunity for all of us because whatever you do in eclipse, they say it gets manifold. That's what they say. So you can meditate during this eclipse time, especially people in US and Canada. What we can do, we can have no Holi then, but that's when the eclipse time is happening. So why can't we meditate and do other spiritual practice and really merge with the Lord? And really enjoy have an holy festival celebrated in actual literally what it means. I think we have an eclipse, so we were sorry that we were unhappy that we could not celebrate, but For us, the Lord has given a much better opportunity because by having an eclipse, so that you could do meditation and spiritual exercises to connect with the divine Lord, I feel. So, though we are not having an holy, I think there is a blessing in disguise for us, I feel, to connect with the Lord and to celebrate the holy in real sense. With that, I wish you happy Holi, and that's the end of my talk. Think, yeah, I've taken perfect on time, I guess. So no worries. So happy Holi to everyone. And this time, when you see colors, make sure you understand what the Holi is and what to do, and meditate and do some spiritual exercise to join with the Paramatma and celebrate the Holi in real sense. Thank you.
This was fantastic, Aditya. I have to say that nobody would have done a complete, kaleidoscope of Holi from various different angles. Especially, I'm saying you have gone into the depth of Bhadra, Titi,
Correct.
the concept of Karnas. So I think this is really, really great that you have brought this, and you have covered a large part of the world where this eclipse is going to happen. This is coming around an eclipse. Now, very interestingly, what I wanted to ask you is you have done all of this work and this research, which is very fascinating, and that's why I want to wish everybody a very happy Holi. Whether you will be able to celebrate Holi or not, because of the Sutaka that you said, there is a Veda Kala that is coming in.
Mhm.
However, I would be interested in knowing from you that eclipse and Holi, is there a pattern that when was the last we had an eclipse on Holi? Which year? Is it based on metonic cycles that every 19 years the metonic cycles, which means every 19 years the Holi will come on an eclipse day? Secondly, they also say that this is going to be a blood moon eclipse, which means the refractive index of the sun, and you will see that the moon is not going to look normally, it is going to look very red in color. Thirdly, I would be very interested in knowing from you, Aditya,
Mhm.
must have observed so many eclipses that happen. In
Mhm.
terms of duration, I think we have had a discussion in Sedona as well about this. If you remember, where you were saying there are certain eclipses which the totality of the eclipse is very long, and how that is going to impact us. Is there anything that you wanted to add? Is this a normal time that you will be seeing this partial lunar eclipse? Um, because you have annular eclipses. And in your observation, I think you must have done some research on saying certain eclipses which are also going to come in the future. You had made a point in Sedona saying that certain eclipses are going to be longer, and what is the impact on the world, global scenario, and other things? Is there something that you have done with that? And this
Okay.
is this one of those eclipses which is common? This is a partial solar lunar eclipse. So
Okay.
all of these very interesting for me to know,
Okay.
and
I've
for the
noted.
audience. I'm asking on the behalf of
Yeah.
audiences.
So yes. So as I've written down all the questions, the three questions. So I so you said first question when Holi was on eclipse. Yes, it depends upon the metonic cycle because every 18, 19 years there will be repeat. But remember, there will be repeat, correct? But it may be not in India. Sometimes that's a shift. So probably 18 years, 19 years back, when this metonic cycle or Saros cycle was there, it would not have in India, maybe in the Middle East or the Europe would have affected. So India was not affected. So we could have celebrated Holi.
Mm.
Okay. So that's possibility. So, and that is a shift. You can see the metonic cycle, it's exactly 18 and a half and some few hours. So there's a shift in the, for if that an eclipse in this region, next metonic cycle after 18 and a half years or what, whenever that eclipse is, it will shift towards I think it shifts towards the west, I guess. So that's where. So India would not have been, we would not have worried about that. Okay. So that's one thing. Yes, but you're right. Every metonic cycle, there will be an eclipse for the Holi coming after every 19 years, but not at the same location.
Yeah, but what, when, where the exact same location had in the Metonic cycle, maybe 4 cycles, Metonic
Ah,
cycles before three.
yeah, that's yes,
Sometime it has to.
it has to. Yes, yeah, that could be. That could be. Uh, I don't know. Last time when Holi came during the eclipse in India, that I have not done. I have to see. My mother was saying some few hundred years or something. She was saying. So there is some news going on, which I know she came to know. So this is what. Yeah. So you're right. In that way, yes, it would have been. I think I answered that question. Okay. Then you ask about the moon, red moon. Yes, blood red moon. What happens is the moon basically is the reflection of that moon has got no light of its own. Moon is nothing but the reflection of the sunlight. So what's happening? You have the earth is covering the earth shadow falls on the moon. So basically, there should be no light falling on the moon because and the moon is looking red means what? There is some light, red light basically from the sun and falling on the moon, and that's what's being reflected. Now, why only red light? Because what is that? Earth's atmosphere. See, the Earth will block, but Earth has got what? Atmosphere around it. Atmosphere is not a solid body which can block the light. So the light from the sun, so I don't know, maybe my hand. So let's say the sun is here. This is my sun. This is my Earth in between and the moon because they are in the same line. Earth core is a solid body, but Earth's atmosphere is made up of gas. So light from that atmosphere will pass through, and whenever light from atmosphere will pass through, it is passing through a lot of dust and gas in the atmosphere. So it's only all the red light that will go through, and that red light falls on the moon, and that is what is reflected. So Earth's atmosphere blocks that, and that's why the red light falls on the moon, and that is reflected, and we see the moon red. So that's why moon appears red during the eclipse. This is also a clear indication that the moon complete chop off of light doesn't happen. Some light leaks through the atmosphere and goes, and mostly it is a red light. So that's why, let's say our atmosphere was made in such a way that only blue light was scattered. Let's say, then the moon will look blue. You know what? If you go on Mars, on Earth, when the sun rises and sets, the color of the sun is orangish reddish. The Mars atmosphere is such that it will why it is reddish, because the red light could reach us. All the other colors are basically scattered and the red light reaches us. That's how the atmosphere of Earth is made up of, the particles in the Earth's atmosphere. In a Mars, the particles in the Mars atmosphere is such that all other colors are cancelled, but the blue light is reaching. So the rising sun and setting sun on Mars looks blue. So instead of looking rising and setting sun looking red, it looks blue. So let's say now Mars moon is very small. It doesn't have exact effect of like what we have. But let's say there was Mars and there was a moon. If that would have happened on Mars, probably we would have seen a blue moon on Mars thing. If that would have happened. But the Phobos and Deimos, the natural satellites of Mars, is so small. A rock. It doesn't completely. But I'm just saying. That's what is probably you can see. Maybe when the Phobos and Deimos, the satellite of Mars, is casting a shadow on Moon, maybe they may look blue. Who knows? Possible.
And is that the reason why we call it phobia because of Phobos?
Phobos.
Phobia,
I
the
don't
word.
know. Deimos and Phobos. They call it.
Demos.
Deimos and Phobos.
Is it?
Yes.
Right.
Maybe.
But that is very interesting. Now that you have said that it's a red blood moon, okay,
Mhm.
that we understand it's a natural phenomenon. But in your opinion, is this phenomenon rare or it can happen in many of the lunar eclipses? Or how common it is to see a red moon? Because you know what happens with the viewers when somebody is trying to promote this, it's a natural phenomenon which is happening because of the refraction and some light is entering.
Correct.
It can create some sort of a fear. Oh, blood moon and all of that. You know, the word itself is trying to set some kind of fear and people are going to mislead. So I want you to dispel this fear and say that we have already talked about the science behind it, But what is the implication of seeing a blood red moon? Have you done anything? Is it common to see that like every other year you can see a blood moon, or
Oh,
it is
yeah,
very
every
rare?
day you can see blood moon when the moon is rising and setting. When the moon rises, you just go and see the moon. It will be blood red,
Mm,
very near to horizon, just rising near the horizon. Especially the
mm.
full moons are very good because it's a full days. No, you go and see the moon color when it rises and sets. I've done this my own many times, but it has to be just very near to the horizon, just rising.
Horizon. That means, is this eclipse happening around the horizon from where it is going to be looked as a blood
No.
moon?
After what happens in normal day when it is rising and setting, the moon looks red. But when the moon comes up in normal days, then it becomes white after that.
Mm,
Here in what in eclipse, when the moon is still higher, you will still be able to see that type of effect because Earth is now blocking it.
mm.
So that's the difference. Every day when the moon rises and sets, it is always blood red moon when it is rising and setting. But in eclipse, when even though it is high up in the sky, you will be seeing the moon as blood red. That's the only difference.
So you want to really say this? This is something natural. Don't get carried away by what people are trying to now project this on the social media. It's a blood moon, and now there are a lot of people trying to look to get some kind of insights from astrologers. Oh, what does it mean for me that it's a blood moon? It's happening in Purva Falguni Nakshatra. Sun is in Satabhishak Nakshatra. So I have this. You have so many kind of
Correct,
that
correct. True,
misleading
true.
misinformation.
Oh, I have seen, as I was saying, I was looking into some web pages where the dates of eclipses, I don't want to show, I've kept a screenshot of that for my own record. I have that where they have confused the dates of even the eclipses. I don't know how that is. You should have the dates at least right. What dates cannot be wrong. It's a but one of the leading news channels, in fact.
Hmm.
So just don't go do the research properly. See when the eclipse is there and when the eclipse is not there. What dates the eclipse? In India, eclipse is happening on March 3rd, not on March 2nd night or something. US and Canada will have on March 2nd, second and third night. Indians will not have that. Indians eclipses is purely on during the daytime. It will start on March 3rd because India is almost 12 hours ahead than us, than US. Okay, your third question was eclipse duration total. No, annular eclipse. Now, annular eclipse and all will happen for the sun. Earth for lunar eclipse, there's no annular eclipse. It's either partial eclipse or it's a total eclipse. Because what happens, Earth when it casts, Earth is much huge than the moon. So Earth casts a huge shadow on the moon. So moon comes entirely into the most of the time moon comes entirely into the Earth's shadow. Sometimes because of the tree diagram, it won't come in the Earth shadow. A part of that will be blocked, as I said. So that will be a partial eclipse. If it is too low or too high, sometimes when the shadow, the shadow of the Earth, there's a penumbra and umbra. When the moon is crossing at the upper or the lower ends, only a part of that moon will be blocked. That's a partial eclipse. Sometimes it may go through the entire thing. That will be a total eclipse. But there is no lunar eclipse for no annular eclipse for the moon. Okay, now the longer the eclipse and all, yes, I did discuss about that. We are going to have a very long solar eclipse of 6 minutes or 7 minutes, something like that. I think in the year 2027 or something, passing through the Egypt area and all those. So that yet to be done. What are the different? I've not yet done that study. So frankly, I will say I don't know how the duration affects that. But I'm going to talk interesting. Now, this is a good advertisement for my Parashara conference too. Maybe I'll just say that. I'm going to talk in this year's Parashara conference about how eclipses in the past. I've done some analysis wherever the eclipse had fallen. I have seen some natural phenomena which has happened in that region. And I've taken many few data of different eclipses and see how common those natural phenomena, natural events, or natural calamities happen where the eclipse path falls, especially with solar eclipses and all. So I'm going to talk about that in my Parashara conference a little bit on that. Of course, with my other topic is also on Jupiter and Saturn speeds and all. But but I am also going to talk about some eclipses on those. So that will be a topic. But the duration of the eclipse and the effects, that's a topic in research itself, which I have not yet done, but that will be an interesting thing to study. So that's for that one. Yeah, hope I answered.
Yes, you have answered all of them, and I think this is a very interesting time that we are in. We have seen a solar eclipse. Every time a solar eclipse comes, and then there is a lunar eclipse, and always people are very fearful about these eclipses. These are natural phenomenon that every year you see eclipses. What in a normal year you'll have at least four eclipses on an
In
average.
four eclipses in a year, of maximum to maximum in a year, it will be
Seven.
seven
Seven
eclipses
eclipses, exactly.
maximum.
So I would also be interested in knowing what happens again, probably in your Parashara conference, you'll be covering this. What happens in those years when there were six or seven eclipses and how the climate of the world was, economy, world order. We have talked about precious metals and
Correct,
other
correct,
things, and that
correct,
got to have any impact on them just by
correct.
eclipses or the transition of planets.
Even now, we have the eclipse season, and you can see what all is happening these days also. It's eclipse season from February till now, also, we are going to have an eclipse. Now, especially this eclipse is happening on the Sagittarius and the uh, Leo part. Leo, Maga, you can say Purva Falguni and Sagittarius, Aquarius, Shatabisha and all. Magha, what is that? All world leaders. I need not say what's happening today. US, Iran, especially nowadays. I don't know what's going happening. So especially regions or countries which have this prominent or their rashis are basically the Leo or the Aquarius. Those parts will be affected a lot. Of course, that's bound to happen. Okay, US is involved, Iran is involved, Israel is involved. So already the whole Middle East. Now I want to see what's the connection of Middle East with. Is this something with the eclipses? Maga, of course, Maga crowd, Maga nakshatra. It's all in the same eclipse zone actually. So that is clear. But what about the Rashis and all of Israel and Iran? That will be nice to see. It will be topic in itself. So it's a turbulence, time of great turbulence right now, and eclipses always bring that turbulence, no doubt. Uh, so that's what is happening. That's what we are seeing in the world. So hold on. Let's see. The fun is, I won't say fun, but that's how change, renewal. Change is not easy. As I was saying, it brings a lot of turbulence before that. So that's what we are witnessing, I guess. So it's a period of all turbulence and all. I hope. So that's why we have to be with the divine.
That's great. Aditya, thank you
Yeah.
again for your time today. This
Thank
is
you.
fantastic to share that you have, whatever you shared, that took a lot of time for you to put all of those times, zones, other things. So
Oh,
it's really invaluable. So thank you for coming and sharing this
yeah,
with
I
all the
thought it would have been
audiences.
easy, but then the Bhadra came, then the eclipse came, and the Holi came. I said, oh my gosh. So, but I learned. See, Bhadra and all always I used to hear, but unless until you really, one thing is to know and one thing is to learn. Then once you learn, I know Bhadra is something, Bhadra exists, but then what is Bhadra, where it is, how it is calculated. So, Poonch, this, all that we were saying, body, and I was not knowing all those. And so it's always a learning experience for me. So I learned a lot. So I learned a lot too. And they say, best teach the best how you learn something. When you teach, you learn. And I have seen that multiple times. Great. Awesome. I know Dr. Pai, you're also getting late.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, no worries. Thank you, Aditya.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks a lot.
happy Holi to all of
Happy.
you.
Yes. Happy
Namaste,
Holi to everyone.
everyone. Yes, namaste. Bye bye.